All right, Razor, we're trying this. It's like the old days when the old people would say, yes, I'm on the Facebook.
Yeah.
We're on the internet, I think. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. This is the first live stream that we've done, and looking forward to it. If only then we get to have some of our listeners who have been so good to us over the years get the actual first run of the show, actually the only run of the show. Razor. Normally, folks, I think you know what we do. It's late at night on a normal non-matinee, and we're sitting down and we're talking, and we literally don't say a word to each other. We say, hey, ready to go? Good, go. That's what we're going to do right now, too. So welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, live stream version. Boston Bruins lose for the second time to this season, this time to the Florida Panthers, this time 4-3 in a game that I'll use the word frustrating, partner. I don't know. Do you have a word that you'd like to use?
Yeah, it's still sloppy. It's
Okay.
just sloppy.
Okay, frustrating and sloppy. There we go. We get those out right away. Before we get into it, we got a lot to get into, so we're going to get right into it. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is proudly sponsored by Venda Coffee. These are what we're calling these the Venda Coffee Studios. How about that? Venda Coffee, Boston specialty coffee roaster. Visit vizendacoffee.com and do it.com/morning brew if you want to check out the morning brew blend or whatever else. Look, you can go on vizendacoffee.com and you can find everything you could possibly want. But also, if you're in the wholesale business and you want to serve the best coffee in town, Venda Coffee Roasters partners with cafes, bakeries, and restaurants to bring you the highest quality, fresh roasted beans and unmatched support for your business. Whether you're just starting or want to upgrade your coffee menu, Fazenda has the perfect coffee solution for you. FazendaCoffee.com/wholesale if you have a wholesale business, and book a call today to see how they can help you build your business. You know what, Razor? A good cup of coffee goes a long way to starting off a good day. And I would highly suggest Fazenda Coffee doing that. All right. I use frustrating. You use sloppy. Overall, after the game, I caught some of Jim Montgomery audio. I caught that via social. You know, after we did our post game, we had some on Nesson, and then I caught it on social. But you were downstairs, and you could hear his perturbedness, if that's a term. Another way of saying, I feel like he's pissed off. But you were down there, bud. What do you think? What did you make of the game, and how did it feel afterwards?
Yeah, he was certainly hot. I sit in the room when he does those interviews, and you get anytime a loss, I just sit in the corner and quietly and like I'm not there.
Like
I
a
get
kid
it.
in school
I'm
that
just
doesn't want. You don't want to be
maybe
called on.
maybe he'll say hi to me, maybe he won't. It's not a big deal. I see him at the rinks otherwise, so I can see him off business hours. So I don't take offense to it. Today was definitely not a there's no welcomes today. He came in hot and he was more than happy to talk about the lack of battle from his team. Embraced it and went looking to make that point publicly on top of what I'm sure he was screaming about in the dressing room. So yeah, not happy. Probably frustrated that this Florida Panther team that was down their two best players took it to them the way that they did.
Yeah.
And again, just at certain times outcompeted and then to the sloppiness part. I mean, the Bruins basically gave them 2 goals, if not and then if not more with the penalties early on. So I think it'll be I think it's coaches, we talk about it all the time. Coaches use games to get people's attention, and that'll be an easy one for Jim Montgomery and the coaching staff before they head out west to grab guys' attention.
Florida Panthers had lost 2 games coming into this one. They were already down last game. Barkov, who's out 2. Let's look. I know he's a rival guy, but let's hope it's only 2 to 3 weeks. I love watching this guy play. I want him back in the lineup. He's also supposed to go represent or play for the Panthers in Finland coming up, but hopefully he'll be back for that. He wasn't there, and then Matthew Tkachuk out for a week. They're saying for a week with an illness, so they must know what it is, that illness. Anyway, they lost their previous 2 games, and they weren't exactly well played by the Florida Panthers. So the Bruins had to know, right, that they were going to come out breathing fire. Like this was a get right game for the Florida Panthers, but yet you're down 2 players of your top 6 that are so integral to your success. The other players for the Bees, for the Panthers, stepped up. Reinhart, Lundell in particular, they scored the goals, but they were really, really good as well. I thought defensively, the Mikkola, he played an aggressive game. He was big. They were blocking shots, etc. Why do you think, was it just a matter of having the focus of the Bruins in front of them that just got them righted? And why do you think they were able to? Kind of a lame question, but last game is, and the Bruins top guys weren't able to, because the Bruins got an unbelievable performance again from their fourth line, from their depth guys, and not enough top guys came through when they had their full lineup.
Yeah, the fourth line is great. They are clicking. They have confidence. They're skating very quickly. They're not thinking out there at all. They're just going forward. And they scored in the first 5 minutes. The Bruins did. You feel like everything's in a good spot there. It's physical.
Should have been.
And then you have the bad giveaway behind the net, and that's all Florida needs, is just to get that, and then they get the power play goal. So like 2 kind of self-inflicted wounds in the first period that they just didn't play clean enough. They had more opportunities to score. They outshot them 10-5 or something like that, 11-5 in the first. And so again, it's just those shifts, and we've said it over the playoffs the last couple of years against this team. And you if you don't pay attention to the details on every shift, they find a way to make you pay. It's very simple. Again, the giveaway behind the net, that's a goal. And then Carlo gets too high on the PK for 2 seconds. 2 seconds, he gets taken out of position, and Reinhart rips it over Swayman's shoulder, and now you're down 2-1. You're chasing the game, which we know is hard for the Bruins against this Florida Panther team, because they just continue to put pressure and they continue to open up and get opportunities off the rush, which they did in the second period.
Is Sam Reinhart not given enough, perhaps, recognition, despite the fact that he had 57 goals last year? And here he is again doing it. I don't hear him ever referred to as a sniper. He's a great goal scorer. I think he's a freaking sniper, buddy. Like, that was a snipe. He came
smart.
inside. That was a real snipe, top corner, blocker side. And it feels like here's a guy who's only done it one time, 50 plus. It feels like this guy's just found another level that I don't know if I'm qualified to say I didn't see, because I never, maybe, regardless, it feels like he's going to do it again. Just the way he carries himself out there.
If he gets 50 again, you won't be flying under the radar. That's for sure. Didn't see 57 coming out of him. Never would have guessed it. Never, probably didn't pay attention enough to the fact that he did it. And then again, the fact that he's scoring these special team goals again so early in the season. It's he's found his thing. He's found his thing in this league. He's a high pick, and he's always been good, but he's certainly figured it out here in Florida the last couple of years.
Yeah, and listen, he's scoring goals at key times, right? Mm-hmm. And he's scoring. That shorthanded goal changes the tenor of the game. The goal that you mentioned off the power play to make it 2-1, it didn't feel good, but it didn't feel like, oh shit, right? Like, at least to me, it felt like, all right, power play. But then that shorty and Poitras not getting the puck deep. And again, I thought Poitras played pretty well through his gig, but this play, just like Lowry's mistake, he gets out-battled. It's a positional 1v1 type battle. Monty talking about that. He seals him, takes it, goes, and then Poitras is accelerating so much to try and get back. He ends up running into Swayman as well. And the guy, Reinhart, just stops in front of the net and does again, smart thing. He sticks on the ice, puck comes right to him.
No, exactly. And listen, this is part of being young, right? Like, we hear it all the time, right? Like, oh, I want the young guys to play. We want Lowry in there. Oh, we want well, they give up goals. Like, that's why they don't usually play in the NHL. That takes them a while to do that, because young guys make mistakes, and And when they do, it ends up in the back of the net, and that's, frustrating, and you have to kind of roll with that. So you don't expect Poitras to make that mistake again. I think he learned from it. That's pretty embarrassing, especially because he ends up in the net while that's just as bad as it gets for a power play shift for the kids. So you learn from that, but those are part of the growing pains that Florida doesn't have to go through, because they have a bunch of old guys that have a bunch of experience, and the Bruins are now kind of on the other side of that, where they've been the team that is old and grizzled, and that's where they're trying to get to. So those two plays change the game. They do.
They do. I think it was Swayman after the game, partner, that was asked if Florida is in their head. And it was a no answer. Like one of those one words, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a scrum buster, that question. That's
okay.
the full on scrum buster. Nowhere to go from there.
Fair enough. But, I also don't blame the reporter, whoever it was, for asking it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can discuss. Is Florida in their head? Meaning, are they just better right now? Overall, they just deeper, a little bit better. Not to say the Bruins can't beat them regularly. I mean, the Bruins aren't going to beat them if they don't have production, especially from top guys. They're just not. No team's gonna, for Christ's sake, right? But does Florida? And the reason I asked that, and we can get it, we're gonna get into all the physical play and the penalties and all that stuff. But from a look, man, you've been in the locker room so much. I've been there too, but you there's a vibe. You get it. You understand it. You never, as a player, right? You never want to admit that another team may have you, right? You never want to admit. And I get that too, because you want to make sure that your confidence stays up. You never try to think negative thoughts as well. I get all that. But right now, Bud, does it appear to you that Florida just has a confidence about them playing the Bruins that the Bruins just can't get to ramp up? Yes or I mean, when I say yes or no, meaning let's talk about that.
I think the Bruins are trying a little bit too hard right now against the Florida Panthers. At least these two games. These two games, there's no question. This week they tried too hard against the Florida Panthers. They didn't play their game, and they got too wrapped up in the physicality. And then of course it's AJ Greer hitting past it like that. That is bullshit, and that pisses everyone off. And if AJ Greer was on any other team, that same thing would have happened out there today. I don't think that was a Florida Panther thing. I think that was an AJ Greer thing.
Okay.
Where, again, he's not my favorite guy, and he wasn't my favorite guy here. I thought he took cheap shots when he was here, and he took another cheap shot tonight. He was more than happy to fight Pavel Zacha. It's so soft and it's so phony. Right. And I think that would have bothered them no matter what. But I think
Kastelik wanted to try and get him going.
Yeah, and he doesn't do anything.
And he wanted no part of it.
He got Kastelik when Kastelik wasn't ready last week and said, "I already fought you." Again, that's his game. So I think, again, I guess the one thing is you're not going to see them till January now. So it's kind of irrelevant almost.
Is that good or bad, or does it not even matter?
I don't think it matters. I think it's a good thing because they don't have to talk about it, or again, they're not going to play this group again for a while. And, and until they beat them in the playoffs, and that's what Montgomery said before the game, these guys are the top dogs. They're the defending champs. They've won the Eastern Conference 2 years in a row. So yeah, they've got everybody's number right now. And until you knock them off in meaningful games, that doesn't change. So I think stylistically they're tough for the Bruins because they shoot everything and they play quick and they cause chaos. And the Bruins like to make plays and they like to have possession. And I think that way, stylistically, it's really hard for the Bruins to create turnovers and counterpunch because of the way they play. And that's what stands out for me.
Isn't though a sign of a really good team being able to adjust when called upon, when needed to. So, I mean, let's play this out, Bud. They can end up playing each other again come playoff time, right? Bruins are so.
Well, I think. So just to jump in on that, I think you see what they've built, the fourth line and the D, they've built themselves to play a playoff series. But having Florida twice in the first week when they're still trying to figure each other out and still trying to create an identity for this group, I think it gives Florida an advantage in that respect.
Okay. Well, they're getting it. Florida gets to their game. They didn't get to their game perhaps as much as we saw a couple of days ago when they were in Florida, where that first period, they hammered away and every battle they won. I do think they still won more than their fair share of battles in this game on Monday afternoon. And they figured out a way to squeak out a victory, a road win that they desperately needed. And the Bruins didn't. Let's talk about some of the guys that the Bruins need more out of. A handful of guys in particular. We saw the lines juggled up. I'm going to say, I don't remember exactly when it happened. Halfway through this game, for sure, you started seeing different things. Marchand goes to play with Poitras. Coyle, I think Coyle one shift was out there on the right side, actually, with somebody, and Coyle's in the middle, and Geeky's not seeing as much ice time, et cetera. Like, there's a gaggle of guys, partner, that I know we're just 4 games in, and I am not walking to the cliff at all. I'm not saying at all, but don't you think it has to be discussed a little bit? Like, there's Charlie Coyle, we talked in our season preview show, he needs to replicate what he did his first year. His last year. He needs to do that again this year for this team to be successful, whether it's as the 2 slot or the 3 slot. He's going to need to. Morgan Geeky is going to need to as well. And you could look at a few other guys at times. I know the third line at times been pretty good. We applauded Poitras, especially last game. It was brilliant. Still love to see a little more out of Brazeau. Like these guys, Razor, especially those main cogs I talked about. We'll call them on the second line. They got to get going, don't they?
Oh, big time. And listen, you can look at the ice time and recognize after a game like today who they're not exactly thrilled with. Morgan Geeky, 933. That's a problem.
Yeah.
They're not happy with that. Trent Frederick, 12 minutes and 23 seconds. That's a couple minutes below his average last year. Charlie Coyle, 14 minutes, probably 4 minutes, 5 minutes below.
5 minutes below, yeah.
His average last year. So yeah, there's some, that's I go to the ice time, and that typically tells you who's producing, who isn't, who's on the coach's favor, and they need that middle 6 to figure it out. And we knew that was going to be kind of the issue, at least early on, who was going to fill in and how are they going to put everyone together. So we're seeing that. We saw that tonight anyways. See what happens when they get out on the road, if there's any more changes, but you can't touch the first line. You can't touch the fourth line. So whatever puzzle pieces that are in the middle, they've got to put them together.
So do you want to play just a quick game of what's my line with these middle 6? So, are you gotta, I would think, keep Marchand with Poitras. I would start with that pair. Would you agree?
I might put Poitras over on the wing with Coyle and Marchand, and then put Geeky, Frederick together, and Brazeau together. Yeah. Good.
And then
I agree, because you do have to get Charlie Coyle going. Like he isn't a 20-point guy. So in this situation, I just think it's hard for him to be a straight third liner. That's all.
I'm thinking maybe matchups too. He gets the third line thing. He gets to play more of a possession game with the monsters on the wing with Frederick and let's say Brazeau, if that's what they stick with. So, okay. So again, we're playing the game, but we're not getting anywhere with it. But could you see Frederick on the right wing? Again, then you're putting Geeky, Poitras, and Brazeau, 3 righties together.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that either for that line. I don't know. We did see Poitras and Marchand in this game for at least a couple of times. They were out there. I guess the question is who's going to end up being on that right side. I guess maybe tomorrow in practice we'll see. Maybe we'll get an indication. I'll be curious. I got to imagine they would start wanting to practice with that way before they hit the bird to take off to go to Colorado.
Yeah, I would imagine they'll and that buzzes everyone's tower too. Whatever they do will get everyone's attention. Players will be looking for it tomorrow a little bit, and so yeah, I think you will see lines that we'll see on Wednesday night, and we'll see some battle with that tomorrow.
All right, let's quickly go through. I had a couple of goalie questions for you, goalie, technique type questions, as I like to do here and learn. And then later on, I pretend like I know what the hell I'm talking about, but I credit you, Razor. You should ask for residual. This is what Razor would say. I can talk about flex on sticks and shooting and this, that, but the whole shin lock, heel, VH, all that shit. Nuh-uh. I can't get to that or anything like that. And we'll talk about that. We'll hit our sponsors, and we'll do a few other things that I've got here. So that goal that goes in with a Lundell goal off the side there, Sway, again, he was asked about that. That's just, literally a half an inch to an inch. The heel, the skate doesn't lock in there.
Yeah.
When I say is that a it just that shit just happens once in a while. There's bodies in front, masses of humanity, mosh pits. And sometimes a goal like that's going to go in. But all right, what else did you see?
Yeah, that's the excellent. And Swayman, Jeremy said it before his scrum buster question. He in his scrum, he said I could have been a little more ready for it. I think that was pretty honest. I don't think he didn't know all of that was going on or expected it. So, and you try and be ready on all the plays, but when your DS full possession behind your net, you don't really expect that to happen. So I think he was just caught off guard a little bit. Didn't really seal the post as well as he could because he was rushing. He just panicked just a little bit to get to his post, but didn't seal it exactly perfect. And like you said, it just kind of found its way into the net from there. It's one of the. It's like, all right, again, early season hasn't, just a little bit ugly from everybody, all three of them.
That's the kind of goal when you're there that forward, you almost can't believe that it goes in.
Yeah, you're so happy.
You're so happy, right? You see Lundell's
the easiest goal ever. I can't believe that Deep gave it back and it hit me and went in. Like, that's just beautiful.
Right. And you whack at it and you're like, oh no, is it gonna get it? And it does, it goes in, and then you're like, I made something out of nothing. Or
yeah,
it ends up being as a forward, you're in that position. That's the way you feel. Okay. What about the second Anton Lundell goal? By the way, I'm also a fan of the way he plays. His nickname is Baby Barkov, and the way that he plays is very Sasha Barkov-like, albeit at just a little bit shorter. But he's got a lot of Barkov's mentality. That one above pad, below glove, was that as perfect of shot that you could ask for?
Yeah, and he took a little off of it. Like, just you could tell he has like a bit of he just kind of up and over the pad. Swayman was on it. He moved that way, but I think because he took a little bit off of it, he kind of fooled Swayman with it. That was from like when I watched it, because again, Swayman drove into it to the right. He knew he was going there with a left-handed shot, and it looked like he had a little bit of dip on it. And these guys, again, they do that. They've done it a million times. And
I love the release. I thought it was, I really did. I liked the release that he had, Razor, flow. It was like, I think it was a really good shot. The way that he came in with it and where he was with the puck and everything. I don't know. Again, could Sway have done anything different there?
No, he could have got hit with it, right? Like, that's kind of the only thing, right? Like, but no, he would have. I bet he would play it the same way, because I think he read it and I think he drove into it, and he just got beat by a pretty good player that was in on his own, right?
Yeah,
happens.
That's going to happen. You know what else is going to happen, Razor? If you own a place, okay, whether it's a house or an apartment or a condo or whatever, you're gonna need some work done at it, right?
Yeah,
I know. Have you guys had to do a lot of work at your house, or no? You haven't done.
No, we've got 19 projects that need to be done. We redid the kitchen, and then there's a million things next.
All right. Well, good. You're going to call. You're going to reach out to Graciano Construction. Then Graciano Construction, serving Greater Boston and Metro West, and more too. Folks, they'll go all around the area. They will. They're the contractor that will help you revitalize and refresh your space. They can do it all. No job is too big, too small. They do it with pride and respect. GracianoConstruction.com or call 508-330-7589. they take care of the customer. We've done numerous projects with them, and they do a great job. Doug Graciano and his crews are, like I said, very respectful. They do a lot of great work, and just they make them. You know what? I don't know if construction's ever fun. It's fun when it's done, right? When you got to live through it, but they make it almost enjoyable to go through the process with them. So check out GracianoConstruction.com. And just if you want to just consider a project, even reach out to Doug Graciano and his people. And if you're looking to sell a house, buy a house, lease a place, you want to rent, we got that covered for you too here on Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. RTN Realty. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or lease, you got to check out rtnrealty.com. Chris Gentile and his staff of 16 people, all very experienced. They've got you covered. Nothing too big or small for them either. All types of residential sales. Chris has over 2,500 transactions throughout his career. He knows the area, and he's licensed in a couple of states around there, Mass, Rhode Island. I mean, you reach out to Chris and his staff, and they will take care of you. rtnrealty.com. Email cgentile, Gentile, at rtnrealty.com as well. And you can also try and give him a call. He's very happy to talk with you. 617-835-0845. Razor knows him. And I know he's a hockey guy too, folks.
You could talk hockey with him.
You can.
You could talk second, third line with him too if you want to give him a call.
He also, you know what else he hasn't? He has a dog. Just like you have one, I have one. And so what does that mean? So what did Mila the Wonder Dog get? She is, like, folks, Razor's got a true retriever, and I've got a true receiver. That's what Cooper is. And but we both are thrilled that Bay Dog, Canine Adventure Gear, has joined Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor as a sponsor this part of the season. What did Mila the Wonder Dog get? She is a wonderful dog, and she is the ultimate retriever.
She is a retriever, and her and Coop are best buddies now. Now that they've stayed together,
they've had sleepovers.
Now they like each other. We got a couple leashes, a couple collars with name, number. She's been carrying around the floaty, the floating device. She likes that, so she'll get in the water with that. So it's awesome. The kids, of course. I mean, Evie's just so excited to get any of the toys out at any moment. And then Aaron saw the Bay Dog at the pet store the other day.
Oh, nice!
The big display at the back of the store. So she was impressed with that too. So you can find it at the stores locally.
Bay Dog is 100% veteran owned. They are super high quality products, folks. Smart designs, but also, and most importantly, very reasonably priced. They've got harnesses, leashes, collars, college gear. They've got a line of college gear. Places like UConn, Michigan, Yale. I mean, you can look online. It's like 33 different schools that they've got. So check out, if you went to one of those places, somebody did, they got a dog, go check it out. Use the code MBREW, BRU, MBRU, get yourself 15% off the entire order. The other thing that they're really known for, the best dog life jackets on planet Earth. So if you're out with your dog on a boat or at the water and you want one, go check out Bay Dog. And again, one day I'm going to tell the story of how Bay Dog and Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor came to be. But we thank Bay Dog and Bart for joining us. All right. Those are our sponsors, folks. We appreciate you taking the time to listen and perhaps support. All right, buddy. Speaking of support, help me out here, man. Help me out, please. Power play. Can you support me? Can you give? We got some people listening, joining us here on the live stream, and I hope, folk, power play. I'm sure I haven't checked the comments section yet. I'm guessing that it's in there. What's going on, bud? It's too. The entries are too slow. They finally figured out a little bit better. Almost predictable. Is it about battles? What is it, man? Because they're not scoring on the power play, and they're shorthanded too many times. They've averaged 7 times short. 7 times.
Nuts.
In 4 games, right? Or is it 21? 6.5, whatever. I suck at math. So 5.5. Shit, I'm awful. It's basically 5.5. Like it's too many times shorthanded. But let's talk power play. What'd you see from down there?
Oh, there's no shot mentality yet, and And every time they come into the zone today, they came into the zone over on the left side with Zaka. He was on his own. So they did all the work up the ice over on the right side. They kick it to Zaka, and then Pavel's on his own when he chips it into the zone to himself, or he comes into the zone himself. And they've got everybody else on the other side. So it just opens themselves not only just to give the puck up, but to have the other team going the other way. I mean, there's just no support. Again, Montgomery talked about they've got 3 guys and we have 2 guys, and that's not how power plays work. It's got to be the opposite. And they just seem so intent on setting up and moving it around instead of getting that first shot off, instead of working off of that. And again, that's what Florida does so well. We see it all the time. They get the puck and it goes to the net. It's just very obvious.
Yeah. And the other best power plays in the league that you see, the puck movement is a half a second quicker than the Bruins are. And a half a second makes all the difference in the world. We saw so you go from Montreal that you played pretty well on the power play against, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's Montreal.
Correct.
Okay. It's Montreal.
That's right.
Then you go and you play LA and you're like, holy shit. The pressure from Montreal, at times 3 guys, Razor, in one area of the ice getting after it on the PK. Yeah. I mean, completely discombobulated the Bees for a bit on their power play, right? So you talk about going from, it's like no speed to full speed, Mach 5, right? And then the adjustment factor there. But the puck movement that can happen after you get that first shot mentality, because you force the opponent to just turn a little bit, pick up where did the puck go? Let me find it real quick. And then the Bruins don't ever seem to get strength, not yet at least, strength in numbers for short passes. We saw Lindholm in preseason support. We saw him help out in areas, but we've seen a lot of one-on-one, one-on-two battles, and then the opponent, in this case, the Panthers, get it and fire it down the ice, everything. So I know you can. I've been there, done that, and I know you've been there, done that too. You can teach, you can demand that they move it quicker, but it's got to be a thing that they know. I mean, instead of getting it, dusting 1, 2, 3 it off and then moving it, move it right away. Move it right away. Keep it going. I know sometimes people say, well, you got to take what the penalty killers give you. I actually disagree. I say, you got to make the penalty killers, you got to make them react to you when you're on the power play. I haven't seen that yet from the Bruins. Have you?
No, you have to dictate. And I think when they have set it up, they've made the one too many passes, or looked for a pass that really wasn't there yet, like hadn't been established through the seam. They're trying seam passes that aren't there. The best chance they had, again, it's the pass to one-timer off a face-off, and then Marshy had a chance over on the other side that got blocked. Like those
got blocked,
yeah, and that was a pretty good opportunity. So again, if they can work off of that, that's the mentality. But right now they're trying too much down low, and realistically, they're just not setting up because they're so separated. They're so separated coming into the zone.
Is it time to consider? And I understand it's a salary cap thing. Are we talking Tyler Johnson time? I mean, does it help the power play? Do we think it does? I don't see him going on your top unit, although why not? If you signed him, give him an opportunity to go there. I don't even know, I don't have numbers in front of me and everything. Can they do it yet? I think they could do it. I think they could fit it in there, but that's gone kind of quiet, Razor, at least from what I've heard.
Heard. No, that's right. He's still, I assume he's around. I didn't see him, this weekend here, but certainly doesn't hurt his case that the middle six has had issues this weekend. Certainly doesn't, keep him from thinking that he has an opportunity to play here with the way that's gone in the middle six. But I don't expect, he's not the power play elixir that I think that's a separate conversation. I think if you are talking about him signing, then you're saying, okay, well, he can add a little bit of veteranness, a little bit of skill, a little bit of speed, a little bit of understanding how to play in the league in the middle six, and maybe help get a couple other guys going.
How important is it this road trip coming up, partner? We start talking about getting on the road, not just for a one and done like they had in Florida, but now they get on the road, leaving tomorrow afternoon for Colorado. Game is Wednesday night, then 2 days off, then they play Saturday, then they have another 2 days off, then they play in Nashville. By the way, some really freaking good places to go to have an extra day off in between each one. But also, how good is it? Just maybe does this help? Forget the whole having beers and all that shit. It's important. I get it. But I'm talking about the road mentality. You know, you're playing a very good team in Colorado, despite their results so far. Do not get lulled into thinking that they're not a good team. They're not getting goaltending yet. Georgiev hasn't been good, but still a pretty freaking good team in Colorado there. And then you're playing Utah, who lost this afternoon as we sit and record this as well. But they're off to a pretty damn good start too. And you're going into a place that's going to be all crazy at that arena, the Delta Center. And then you got Nashville, one of the hot, it teams over the summer, them having signed Marchessault and Stamkos and Brady Shea. So how important is it? And how good could this road trip be for the let's get it simple in hockey type road hockey mentality type?
Well, it's always good to get away early in the season. I don't think these matinee games did the Bruins any favors, if we want to dig into that. It's not an excuse, but I don't think they help early in the season to be playing matinee games, and guys aren't getting morning skates, etc. So I think just getting on the road and getting some practice time and having morning skates and being in the hotel together and not worrying about where my kid is on the glass before warm-ups, matinee game after matinee game. And I think all that stuff kind of adds up. It's a long weekend for everyone here, and now they get to go on the road and get some sleep and hang out together and play some golf and do whatever else they do. So they should be able to find their game. And again, it's a long season, it's early, and this is a good time for them to kind of get away and get to know each other a little bit.
Have you ever played in Utah?
No, never. I miss Utah. Utah had the Utah Grizzlies, I think, when I was but we never
I was there.
We didn't cross over there.
Yeah, I went there a couple of times. Interesting place. It's changed significantly since I was in the IHL those days. It's so different now. The last 10 years or so, everything has changed, especially all the different people that have moved there, especially from the West Coast. I guess it's very entrepreneur driven now there. All right. Yes, well, yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Colorado's always a fun trip, but tough game, I think. I don't have Colorado's schedule in front of me. Are they playing? I think they're playing today. I can't remember. I should know this shit before I do the podcast, but I don't remember well. All right. So the Bruins play on Wednesday night. That game, folks, is on TNT. Razor, you and I are going to do a show. We just don't know if we're going to do a show right after that game. We could, if we want to stay up late, if we can stay up late. A lot of Venda Coffee.
Yeah.
No gummies for me. If I do gummies, I'm done.
Good night.
Good night, gummies. We'll let you know, folks, if we're going to do a late night brew live and stream and everything. And I hope this has gone well so far. Our maiden voyage at the live stream. Or we'll record one in the morning on the 17th. So we will let you know sometime on Wednesday, the 16th, what we are going to do with regard to our next show. Is there anything? What else have I forgotten anything, bud? Have I missed it? The low ride goal was nice. It was real nice. Yep. He gets the puck not the half. The Castle is up above the half wall, but he gets it and gives it to him, and he shakes Rodriguez and then drives in and beats Bobrovsky with a gorgeous shot on the blocker's side. We saw
the D's getting in the mix again, right? Like the D's getting in on all these goals. Carlo scores, Lowry scores. They're making plays back there. That's positive. There's still a lot of positives, I think. Despite the two.
It doesn't, but I guess because it's your biggest rival.
Florida,
right?
That's right.
It's Florida.
That's
right?
all. Everyone looked at these two games and wanted them to beat Florida twice, and that's what's disappointing, right? So again, I think that's a good thing and not to worry about or think about it. I don't think it was ideal to get Florida right out of the gates.
Well, let's hope that it is a Florida thing for now, and then they can just again move on and find their game. I'm curious, very curious. I'm going to try and get to practice tomorrow before they take off to see what the lines are. You still have Tufte that's out and Jones that could come back in. We don't know about Tyler Johnson. I'm curious to see how the lines will look and what they'll do with it. All right, a couple announcements. If you're watching us on live stream here, or if you're on, getting the podcast here on YouTube later. And both Razor and I, and if you're just listening on audio, we're wearing the Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor hats. Razor's got the vintage version, which is last year and the year before logo. It looks sharp, though. It looks really good. I've got the updated logo. These updated logo hats, folks, are the ones that are going to be coming in very soon. Venda Coffee is going to be the point of distribution. As soon as they are in, we will let you know, and we will be able to start having these out there, and we appreciate in advance all the support. Many people have been asking about them too. Don't forget as well, Razor, you and I've talked about this quickly before, as part of the feed, as part of the Nesson Podcast Network, etc. At times there will be other snippets from other hockey podcasts or podcasts talking about hockey from Nesson that might end up being put on our feed with regard to, hey, take a listen to this. You will hear us say as part of the intro, hey, folks, take a listen here. This is all good, folks. This is all about getting more hockey talk out there here and there. Nesson really trying to promote the Bruins as much as possible, their podcast as much as possible. But you will know when it's going to be a snippet from our show, and you will know when it's a snippet from, or a segment, I should say, from another show as well. But just be aware of that. But besides that, I think we've more or less covered everything, partner. What do you think? Okay.
Road trip time.
And it means that we're here doing other stuff and then getting ready to work late night. But that's okay.
Late night.
That's all part of it. All right. Thank you to Fazenda, Graciano Construction, RTN Realty, and Baydog. Thank you, folks, for all of you joining us here on this live stream. And just for those that don't catch us on the live stream but are listening and catch us, we really appreciate the support. Things are a lot of fun, these are a lot of fun doing it, knowing that a lot of people are listening. So everybody, your Boston Bruins lose their fourth game into the season. Their record is now 2-2. They lose to the Florida Panthers 4-3. And, let's hope they get on the road and good things happen. It all starts Wednesday in Colorado. Between now and then, I'm sure you're going to have more than a couple of cups of coffee. Make it a Fazenda and make sure that you enjoy it.